Welcome to Odd Musings with, what's the name?
Scott and Brett.
You heard him.
All right.
I'm
Thanks,
D.
Steve.
Snyder.
Hey, welcome to Odd Musings, episode 157. We're back live again.
Can you believe
this week.
it?
I know. It's been 3 years now. Over 3 years now, because we started in May, and time just going by fast. Of course, here in Corona COVID world, I think we did like 8 years. So,
Right. 8 years in Corona time.
yeah.
Where it's 5 o'clock somewhere. Forever.
Yeah. Yeah. What it is it's Steve Martin from The Jerk when he's talking to Bernadette Peters. She's sleeping like, well, one day was like 3 days, and then Tuesday was like 4 days. Wednesday we really went together, so that was like one day. And just going through the whole thing. But
Right.
yeah, it's been weird. Things are slowly getting back to normal. We'll talk a little about that today, and still got a ways to go and that, so it's be fun on that. But we've got a little bit of business to take care of, so I'm gonna
That's right.
popping up my ad read here right now, and I'm gonna do a quick throw up here because there's Loringer Family Chiropractic PC located in Belleville, Michigan and Dexter, Michigan. Your journey to wellness will begin here. You can help build a healthy lifestyle with chiropractic care. They offer on-site digital x-rays, massage therapy, orthotics by foot levelers, young living essential oils, aromatherapy, full line of vitamins, all in a family-oriented environment. They have a lot of other great programs going on. They're adding new things all the time. They're doing some new weight loss programs I haven't looked into yet, so I can't discuss that. I know Dr. Corinne's looking, as they're continuing to launch some of the stuff she's been bringing into the practice, some more things. She's eventually going to start doing her own podcasting, talking about that. But you can visit online at LoringerFamilyChiropractic.com, where you can see the nice little picture there of the Belleville Lake there from Belleville, Michigan. And that's the front there of their business there with the sign, so it's easy to find. It's in what's called 5 Points of Belleville, and right across the street from the A&W. It's a really good A&W too, so you can go over there and have
I've eaten there.
Yeah, so you can go over there and get yourself a root beer float and a chili dog and enjoy yourself after getting adjusted.
When I would bring Ashley over there to Loringer Family Chiropractic for her treatment, which was awesome. We absolutely loved it there. After we would finish with Loringer's, we'd step over at A&W. There's also a couple other great places in downtown Belleville there. What was that sandwich shop we ate at? It was really
the
good.
Lunchbox. Yeah, the Lunchbox is really good. Yeah.
So Belleville is a nice little downtown area that I think is like one of those little hidden gems that people don't really know about in Michigan unless you live nearby. But I really like it down there. And like you said, you got the lake there. And it's really nice.
Yeah, and there's some room for growth. They got a new library to be opening up soon. It's been done for a while. It was supposed to have opened already, but with the COVID, it's been held off until.
Is that where the giant penny is?
They've moved that a couple times, I think. So they moved the sculptures around a little bit. But the library is right downtown in the middle. It's just off of the main street. I always forget the name of the street because I just know where it's at. So.
Yeah, you're there so much, you know the markers.
Yeah, so I just think of the markers and that stuff. But yeah, it's actually down kitty corner across from where the Bayou is, which is a Cajun restaurant. I haven't been there in years. They've changed ownership, so I haven't been in to check to see how it is. So, and Egan's Pub's a little bar / mini restaurant right across the street from that area too. So. A lot of cool little things in Belleville, and there's still some room for growth. Hope to see some new things going on in Belleville eventually, and in the downtown area.
And if you're lucky, you'll see Brett Pinson walking through the streets of Belleville.
Never happens. I don't live downtown, so I'm not gonna be walking much. So, but I go there once in a while. So it's a good town. It's fun. So
it is.
But then we've also got a great sponsorship in. You can see signs behind Scott there. Team Titans Real Estate.
Dun dun dun. Team Titans, go Team Titans, go! All right, Team Titans Realty. Well, that's us. That's me and Jill up here. That's my cohort in crime when it comes to real estate. And as we keep saying, we do more than just cold call people, work off of scripts and everything else. We make it. We're authentic. We are about relationships. We recently had a listing presentation we did with a potential client, and they had multiple agents coming in, but we go in there, and a lot of times people are in and out with their analysis, but we like to get to know who you are. And this one, while it was longer than usual, they had things going on in their lives, and we sat, we listened, we learned what their true goals were, their true needs were, and it went really well. So we'll see if we get that business. We are feeling very good about it, but because we made a connection on a level that a lot of people don't. So like I said, we care about you. We care about what your needs are. Updated news. This weekend is the first weekend we are officially allowed to do open houses. That's
Oh,
right.
cool.
So if you want to list your house for sale, we're allowed to do pretty much everything now. And for Jill and I, we strongly believe in open houses. It's a key part of our marketing plan. But also what you get with Teen Titans is you actually get us. A lot of realtors don't hold their own open houses. They will get the rookie in the office who is just trying to find leads and get them to pawn it off on them to go do the open house. And you got somebody who really doesn't even know anything about your house trying to sell it when really they're just trying to get leads. We don't do that. We actively promote your house and sell it to the people. So we absolutely love open houses as a key part of our marketing strategy. So as Joe likes to say, you don't just get one person, you get two people. We come as a package deal here with Teen Titans, and it gives you so much more coverage for yourself. A single agent, they might not be available. If there's life situations that happen that might tie them up, that makes them unavailable. With us, you have double coverage. So if one person has to take care of something, the other one's available. So it works out well. So give us a call. You can see our number there. That's our group. I call it the Russian roulette line, because if you call this number, you don't know if you're going to get me or Jill. 586-232-5144. It rings both of our phones. That's one of those fancy Google numbers. It'll ring both of our phones, and whichever is available, we'll grab it. So you can call us there. Or follow us online on Facebook. That's the best place. Team Titans RE. You can find us there.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a couple people.
Always a blast.
Kevin's joined us again. Hey, Kevin. And of course, Connie, the Comic Con Mom, says hi. And our good friend Sammy down there in Florida.
Sammy, I shared one of Sammy's jokes today. I thought was funny. It showed a picture of Mr. Bean cheating off of somebody, and it was labeled The Simpsons writers, and then God was writing 2020 based upon the Simpson episodes. I thought that was funny, so I had to share that.
Yeah, see, I keep waiting for South Park to pop up, but I forget which of the characters was in South Park going, Simpsons did it. Simpsons did it. That's what he'll go with 2020. 2020, Simpsons did it. Yeah.
I wonder, like 100 years from now, will there be like this whole course on, people quote Nostradamus, and in the future, people will be quoting Simpson episodes. According to the book of Simpson.
Yeah. Well, it'll be like Galaxy.
The great guru, Homer of Clam Simpson.
No, it'll be like the aliens will come in, and it's just like Galaxy Quest goes, we have the historical documents, and it's all the Simpsons. We couldn't believe how many volumes there were, in Homer, season 4, book 2.
Yep. Sammy saying she does feel like she's in The Simpsons. I agree. I've been saying lately, I feel like I'm in the Truman Show. I feel like there's a grand joke going on, and I'm the only one not in it. I'm taking the world seriously, trying to navigate my way, but really there's like this whole behind the scenes happening that I'm not in on the joke.
Right.
And then Ashton Kutcher is going to come out saying I was punked.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He's going to pop up on national news and come November go, I've been punked. It's really 2019. Do it again.
Do it again. It's the mulligan. Do it again.
Yeah.
So.
Matt Groening is the great prophet.
The great prophet. That's right. Should make a giant statue.
Yeah.
Of his prophetic word.
Yeah.
I do wonder though, like, because of the digital age that we live in and how easy it is to fake stuff, how much of these predictions actually happened on The Simpsons? And how many are people now able to go in and recreate something and post it saying The Simpsons predicted this?
Well,
Like
a lot of the ones I've
I
seen
don't
actually
know.
reference the actual episode and click like, here's the clip from when they said this, and it's not always exact. I mean, it's things like, and Donald Trump was pregnant, and they had a president. They show this one little thing, and it's Donald Trump president from 20 years ago or something like that. But he's been in the media as a face for years. I mean, not just, oh, here's this
Right.
rich businessman. He's actually been on TV for 20 years or whatever or more, and so.
Right.
Well, he's in Home Alone too. So I mean, he's been a celebrity for quite a long time.
Correct.
And so I mean, those are things that you're gonna hit it. And after what 800 and something episodes, you're gonna have some things that just hit.
Yeah, I still think no one's going to top Edgar Allan Poe with his story, his fictional story of a ship of 4 people who get shipwrecked, end up eating one of them, and then like 80 years later, a ship with 4 people eat their crew member, and the crew member was the same name as the victim in his story. And they all drew straws. Everything happened the same way. That is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well, I think that was a
pretty
setup
crazy.
too. They were like 3 guys were going, we need to find someone named this, and then we're going to cause a shipwreck so we can taste human.
It's all a setup.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is a lot of pretty similar from the first 10
seasons.
seasons. Yep.
How long has it been on? Simpsons been for
30. It was 89, I think was the first episode.
Is it?
Well, actually, before 87 with the Tracy Ullman shorts.
Tracy Ullman.
And then it was like 88 or 89 was the Christmas episode. Then it launched the series that came out a few months later. And actually, Disney Plus announced the other week that all the episodes on Disney Plus now are in their original aspect ratio. So they're no longer stretched. It's the original episodes as they originally were. So they fixed the problem from the syndication versions of the episodes, which is what FX had. So that's pretty cool that you can actually go on Disney Plus and see them as they originally were. I mean, the animations, you look how crude it is way back in the first several seasons and how it progressed. So.
Here's
that's
this is what they look like originally.
Yeah,
Isn't that
was
crazy.
Yeah, that was the Tracy Ullman version, but you gotta remember the Tracy Ullman versions. It literally was they found a local animation guy down the road in LA, right, and they gave him like $20, and that's what they got. So
right,
but they weren't meant to be.
And they never imagined.
It was just a
very fast clip.
Yeah, it was 1 minute shorts.
It was never meant to be more.
The show was never Tracy Ullman show wasn't huge. It was a big hit for Fox at the time, and then people started talking about this Bart Simpson character because he was doing the Eat My Shorts, and parents groups started getting outraged. So that's when the Fox was like, "Oh, hey, we got something here. Let's look at this." And they created the Christmas episode where we met the dog for the first time, and animation and the characters were a little different. And didn't mean to do that. My phone started calling somebody when I picked it up. And but yeah, it's funny how it's changed. You look at the animation as it got more budget, more money, and that, and interesting thing is when people that played characters in real life died, they actually kind of retired the character. They didn't replace the voice. So So I think if one of the main characters were to unfortunately pass away, the actors, they might just end the show.
Well, famously, they did that with Phil Hartman.
Yeah. He played a bunch of characters.
He did a couple characters. Yeah.
Yeah, all those characters retired, and I think you still see them here and there, but they're not voiced. It'll be interesting to see. Was it? Oh gosh, one of the younger characters, one of the goofy ones. If you remember, you didn't do the Universal ride, but in the Universal ride, he goes, "I'm a baby bird" or something like that. But it's like starts with an M. I forget the name of it. But the character was voiced by a woman. She passed away. She was quite older too. Was a legendary voice actress in that. So I'm waiting to see because it did a lot. They're 9 months to create an episode, but they're a couple years ahead sometimes in terms of the recording. So I'll be interested to see if they retire that character and it's no longer done anymore. So
you would think after being on the air for that long, they could just reuse like animation from all past episodes to create whole new episodes. You would have enough pictures of Bart running through the living room that you wouldn't have to redo it again.
Well, I think a lot of it's done more.
Kind of like South Park, how they piece theirs together so quick.
Well, South Park uses Maya, and Milton. Sammy got it. It was Milton's the character, the voice.
Oh, that's right.
South Park's interesting. They've got a couple. There's a documentary somewhere I saw, and it showed how they do it. The reason they can do a quick turnaround is they built everything in Maya. So they built the sets in Maya, the characterization in Maya. It's very, in a lot of ways, somewhat rudimentary. That it's not as deeply into it as Simpsons are, and they have everybody right there.
And the animation's so simple.
Yeah, and everybody's and the entire crew and everything is all in this one building that they do everything out of. So when something's topical and they want to get an episode out to deal with it, they can start like on Thursday, and right up until it gets ready to air, they and then upload it right to Comedy Central for them to air it right away. So that's why they're always pretty topical about stuff, because they can do it that quick a turnaround.
Oh yeah, I remember when they first started doing that, where it was like, wait a minute, how did they have a joke about something that happened like 5 days ago?
Yeah, and then
like,
even though and a lot of the episodes are already written, but then they can go through. Okay, we need to change this, change that. We can throw this joke in and re-edit it, re-loop it, and stuff like that. Because they're basically doing week to week, and what it is using the Maya software, which is a really good software. I believe our friend Steph Forney might teach that in her classes. So, yeah. And, so and with all of being the sets already built, they use a lot of in terms of the digital part. It's easy to just plug in the characters and go from there. So. Yeah, it's just
the first two seasons were paper. That's interesting. They were using paper to animate.
Yeah, and then they went CG after that, and that was if you look at the original short they did, the Jesus versus Santa Claus. It was it was all done on paper, and then that first season was, and then they started doing actual animation. Went from there, and it changed all the mouths and stuff like that. So it's that's again, you watch the progression of South Park and 20 years later, actually more now, it was 25 or so. It's the progression of their animation has gotten better as they got into the software and software improved and things like that. But it is interesting because Simpsons takes one approach where they do everything 9 months later. So that's why Simpsons aren't always topical in terms of what they're saying, and they have their own story. So because by the time they could get an episode out, it's 9 months later is their thing, because they sent everything over to Korea for the animation. So
for me, cool. Nothing will top season 1 of South Park for them. Their first season was so epic for me. Mecha Streisand and all of those things they did. What was the one where it was like he was like the Bigfoot or something. He had like a leg that was a gun, I forget what his name was. He had a funny name. Anyway, it was so over the top, and I was like, "What is this that I'm watching?"
Well, it's like the one where Cartman was he got the anal probe, and so he had the anal thing coming out of his rear end, and then you got my favorite one of that first season was the beefcake.
It would open up as a big satellite dish.
Yeah,
and it like. Good times.
Yeah, and of course I was saying when Cartman summoned Cthulhu, I like that. That was tied into the superhero ones where he was the Coon, and then you had Kenny was the Mysterio, the Coon Man, yeah. And I like those. In fact, the video game they came out with, it was the first Simpsons one on the Xbox and PlayStation 4 and all that. Was based on the superhero one. You get to play those characters as the superheroes. And that was actually kind of fun. I actually played the game. It was a lot of fun. I recommend it if you like video games. But yeah, I like that one. But yeah, the first season though, I always liked. It was the one where he was like watching TV. He's like, "Are you like a 90-pound weakling?" Yeah. I mean, a little kid weighing 90 pounds. He's a fat kid. He goes, "You need beefcake." So he's kind of eating all this beefcake stuff, and then he's like really just a big blob of Jabba the Hutt looking thing, going beefcake.
I love when you do the Cartman voice. You nail it.
I get it a little bit.
Cheese puss.
Yeah, like cheese puss. Yeah. Not kidding, it's my papa. Mom.
I love it. Oh, you crack me up when you do that.
So yeah,
now we just need that, and then combined with Sean Connery when we were driving for 12 hours doing Sean Connery jokes.
Well, yeah, and we had the best thing. We see these stupid billboards with and do them in Sean Connery's voice. We're like, she went in through the outdoor.
Oh, that's right. We were singing the songs. Too much.
Yeah, that was a good trip.
But anyways,
with our good friend Kevin Lean. Yeah, coming back from Florida.
Sammy wants you to do the whole whole voice in that voice there.
Oh God, that would hurt.
Whole show.
I only got 2 bottles of water. I don't know if that'll
Yeah.
last. It'd be like,
Yeah. So without getting too sidetracked, we're already 20 minutes into the show. What's going on?
That's why it's called live music.
So this week that's right. This week we had the state of Michigan semi-reopen a little bit more, and it was we were able to eat inside restaurants for the first time in 3 months. So I've already hit 3 different restaurants in the last few days, and it's been nice. It's really cool too. Just see the waitresses all seem very happy to they're getting their regulars back. One of the restaurants we went to, she remembered our full order that we always get, and it's been 3 months since we've been there. She's like, it's a Polish restaurant. You want the stuffed cabbage, you want the pierogi, but you also want a plate because you like to split each other's dish because you like half and half. I'm like, yep, that's it. But so it's really nice, and even seeing the other customers come in, you can tell all the regulars are all hitting their favorite spots that they miss right away. Yeah. And all the interaction is there, a lot of happiness about it. The restaurants so far have been asking you to wear your mask when you enter, but you can take your mask off as soon as you sit down. And then when you leave, they ask you to put the mask back on. So that's the procedure right now that they're following. So it was really enjoyable, though, to get out again. Because it's not the same when you do carry out. Like, I would get carry out from some of the places I love, but it gets steamed inside those containers. By the time you get home, things that normally are crispy are all soft. So it's just so much better eating at the restaurant. So it was nice.
Yeah, I haven't gone out to restaurants yet. Been cooking. We talked yesterday, and I was like, I had got out. When I buy the ribs I get at Sam's Club, they have what they call the brisket part of the ribs. That's the top part of it that you cut off to make it the St. Louis cut rib. So I always save that trimmings for another time. So I actually smoked that along with some mac and cheese and some sausage yesterday. So
I think it'd be great if you did some videos of you smoking, because you're really boring good at it. You know what you're doing.
It'd be boring. Be like, all I do is
a 13-hour video of you sitting there waiting.
Be like, okay, just rub the thing, throw it in. This is the temp I use. See in whatever. And actually, since it was just, I only did a few little pieces. Basically, they were good size, but I only did like a 3-hour smoke, which is great. A smoker is basically like an oven, so you can just treat it kind of that way.
Right.
And I did it at 225. Which if I do pork shoulder or brisket, I do it at like 195, and I do it for longer because it's a bigger, thicker pieces, and I want it to slowly smoke, slowly cook, and that gets the juices flowing more to make it easier to shred and stuff like that. So, I mean, there's tons of videos on smoking and stuff like that. I think the biggest thing is I do the smoked mac and cheese. I tried a slightly different one. It's still Stouffer's. That's what I tell people. They don't believe me. I'm like, I just cheat and throw frozen Stouffer's in. They had one I picked up at Meijer yesterday, and it was our day before.
Stouffer's does have a pretty good mac and cheese.
Yeah, and so it's easy to smoke.
As far as the frozen stuff goes.
Yeah. And then Brandy's like, there's Brandy. Well, guess what, Brandy?
You're known to make extra batches.
He says up at our house, Brandy, you guys are coming up in a couple weeks since Brandy and Kevin and I and Mom are going to Vegas.
That's right.
And that's one reason we haven't really ate out much is we're thinking, well, in a couple weeks, we're going to be in Vegas eating out every day. And I will support all my local restaurants, have been supporting them through this. I'll probably still eat out a little bit here and there. But since Brandy and Kevin are coming up, I think maybe I'll have to do set up the smoker that day and do some fresh mac and cheese for her, because I can easily freeze it afterwards and throw it in bags. And then when they get back from Vegas, they're coming back a day after Mom and I are. I'll just give them something to take home. So I will have to think about doing that. And if I can go find it, it's been kind of difficult to find some of the frozen Stouffer's. It's getting better though. But so I mean, I like I've talked about this before. I like cooking, and I smoke, I grill. I do things that I like. I don't mind going to barbecue places because I enjoy trying different barbecue places. But a lot of times, it's easier just to do it here, and I can have it all ready the way I want it. And like the sausage I did was andouille. We had some andouille we bought to maybe make some gumbo with. And I was looking at the date, like, well, it's getting close. Throw that into the smoker, smoke it up a little bit. It's already pre-cooked sausage, but so just doing the smoke actually just kind of heated it up and added a little smoke flavor to the outside on the casing of that. And it was really good. It was tasty, a little spicy, but it was really tasty. So, but yeah, but I'll be hitting some of the restaurants. I definitely want to get out some of my local favorites. Looking forward to some breakfast places soon. I love breakfast, so that's one of my
Yeah,
favorite places to go.
I'm hoping
So,
this weekend to go out for breakfast. Miss my omelets.
yep.
So
Omelets, and I wouldn't mind getting over one of my local places down here in Canton on Michigan Ave is El George's, and they do a really good fresh corned beef hash, and it's chopped
Nice.
up. It's not diced. It's not the where they blend it all together and then make it look like the one from the can. It's just a really good
Right.
tasting corned beef hash. So I always like that one.
Nice.
So, but yeah,
And then
we're back
along with
open.
the yeah, and along with the opening of that, the theaters are going to be opening soon. If you live near an Imagine theater, you might want to check your local Imagine. I know the one near me in Macomb is doing popcorn Saturday. So this Saturday,
Yes.
you can either call ahead and order your popcorn, or they'll allow you to drive up curbside and buy movie popcorn. So we're already planning to do that on Saturday. So check your local Imagine, see if they're doing popcorn Saturday where you're at.
Yeah, and they're
So
they are
that's
located
exciting.
in different places around the Midwest. They're up towards Minnesota, I believe. They are down outside of Michigan, so there's different places you can go to.
They're primarily Michigan, I
Yep.
believe. They Royal Oak was the first Imagine, wasn't it?
I
Was it Royal
believe
Oak or was
so.
it the one by you?
I think it was Royal
I
Oak.
can't remember, but
And
yeah, so it's a Michigan-based company, which is nice.
Yeah, when they started expanding, they expanded pretty quickly, but they didn't over expand. And they've been smart in some of the areas they go to and stuff like that.
Yes.
It's like they opened up Saline, Michigan not too long ago. A couple years ago, and they built it in an old grocery store that had been abandoned. So they took that over, renovated it. It's a nice theater. I like the one in Saline. I prefer the one in Canton, which is either one is equal distance for me from exactly where I'm at, because I like the higher stadium seating in Canton, where the one in Saline is a lower. It doesn't go way down. It's more like just a little bridge. You can still see just fine,
Gradual.
but I feel like I'm still looking up more than I want to, and I want to look more straight into the screen.
Right.
So, but I go to either one, mainly the Canton one. I did go to Saline one and got before when the pandemic started, they had to close the theaters. They were doing popcorn and gift certificates. So for $25, you got a $25 gift certificate and a big old bag of popcorn. So I did that the one time.
Yeah, that reminds me, we got to dig out our Imagine. It's like it, almost like I set it up. I forgot this is where I had it at work. I'm like, I was just about to say I gotta go find it, and then I look, I'm like, wait, it's right there.
Yeah, and Imagine was kind enough to give us a bunch of passes when we started the podcast up, so we were able to use their passes for some early movie reviews and things like that when we first got the show started 3 years ago. So I like the theaters.
Imagine
I enjoy going to them.
Send us more.
Yes, they can do that anytime. And but definitely check them out. But speaking of theaters,
with the opening of theaters,
yeah, AMC. AMC's the one announced that almost all of the U.S. theaters will reopen in July. And I was looking at movie releases coming up, and there is scheduled movie releases starting July 1st. That's gonna be that Unhinged with Russell Crowe. That's gonna be the first one coming out.
I don't know if you want to share it, you can. I have it up on my screen, the list, or if you have your own list that you can share. I don't know if you.
Yeah, you got pictures. So mine's just I'll pull mine up here too, but it's you can see that mine's just a list. But
this one's Unhinged. This is being labeled as the first one to come back from everything I've been reading. It's a nice, calming road rage story for coming out of the quarantine and entering into national riots. But so if you want a little more stress in your day, we have Unhinged here, which I will say, actually, from the trailer, it actually looked decent. I don't know if I'll be in the mood for this kind of movie though for my first film back.
The trailer was okay. It didn't grab me even normally. I probably wouldn't go see it normally, so I'm probably not going to see that.
Yeah.
I
actually won't.
Looking at what's coming out,
and then look at it to keep the theme of post-pandemic, current national riots. Let's put The Purge out.
Now that's not on my list.
What is this?
So. That's funny. That's not on my list, so that's funny. I something on a different list, but I hadn't even seen that one was coming out.
This one I don't even know what this is, but what is? I think the movies for July are ensuring we keep horror and discourse in the country.
Yeah,
what's on your list? Your list might be more optimistic than mine.
It's pretty much. I've got Tooth Fairy 2 coming out July 5th.
No way. Is The Rock in it again?
No, this is not that one.
No.
This is here. I'm
Oh.
clicking it. Let me click it here and bring it up here.
Yeah,
It's,
put on your screen.
Yeah. So here's what I got. Tooth Fairy 2.
I did like the Tooth Fairy from The Rock.
Yeah, this is a sequel to the horror movie that came out a couple years ago.
Definitely not The Rock.
Yeah, so that's supposed to come out then. And then pulling up my list again here. Really, to be honest with you, the movie I'm looking forward to is July 24th. Is Mulan. I like that trailer. I like the way they're going with doing a live action redone of the animated movie. They just took the concept and made an actual good movie. Or actually,
and the early screenings that were coming back prior to the shutdowns was very positive on this movie. People were really liking it.
Yeah. And then coming out July 31st is Summerland. Not familiar with that. Another World War II movie. Okay. About evacuees and stuff like that. And again, we're seeing a lot of movies I think that would not have got as wide a release, but there's stuff that's not available to come out. And then the next really big movie,
I think a lot of the big
August
ones.
7th.
Yeah, a lot of them. I think a lot of the big movies pushed to August to be a little more safe.
Yeah, like SpongeBob. He gets another movie. This is like the third or fourth.
Will we have David Hasselhoff in it again? That's what I want to know.
Keanu Reeves is in it, and Aquafina, and the Hoff was in the second one, I think it was. I love Squidward's voice. The guy's name is Roger Bumpass. So it's just funny. Wow. And then really one of the next big movies to come out, I think it's going to be this one here. And this is Wonder Woman 1984. Still getting some good talk behind it. So we'll see. I like the fact that
I'm excited for this. This is really the first movie of the summer that I'm excited for that's coming out. I was excited for Black Widow, but that got pushed back to November, I think.
Yes. And then, but I like this because if you look at the writers, you got directors still Patty Jenkins. The writers are Jeff Johns and Patty Jenkins. There's 4 more credits, but I like to see Jeff Johns involved in this. That means he's hopefully dealing with these in the story aspect to try to get a whole cohesive stories going and that. And then of course we got a new trailer. Did you hear about the new trailer? We got here. It's Bill
and Ted
here. Bill and Ted coming out on my birthday, August 21st. And it's interesting. It's sets up the premise of what's going on is they were supposed to be the saviors of everything, and they were selling out stadiums, and then now they barely, they show up at an open mic night, and that's where they're playing. Right. So they in the future calls them back and basically you screwed up. So check out that trailer there, but it looks good.
They all look like Jedi in there.
Yeah.
In that clip.
So, but it looks good, and I'm interested to see that. And then I thought this got changed again, but on this list here, it's showing the New Mutants coming out August 28th.
Interesting.
Yeah, Kevin's like Bill and Ted 3. Yeah.
Let's see. This has. I'm trying to look at my list and see what they have. Yeah. Here's the Wonder Woman. That's August 14th. Bill and Ted the 21st.
Yeah, IMDb is showing it.
Also has New Mutants.
Okay, so maybe that's the day they've dropped on. I know there was a lot of stuff in flux like 2 months ago talking about, well, we're going to really release it, or we're just going to go straight to the home video release when nobody was certain when we would be released to go to the theater. Sammy says theaters open in Florida on Friday, but a lot are still wary. So
now, and the thing with New Mutants, correct me if I'm wrong, this is really like one of the last remnants of the old Century
20th Century Fox. This is basically the last. I believe this is the last thing for them to come out that was 20th Century Fox prior to the buyout by Disney.
And even then, this was finished and shelved by 20th Century Fox, and it was kind of resurrected by Disney since it was already done, if I remember right.
Yeah, they shelved it because they weren't happy with what it was. So Disney supposedly looked at it and did some reshoots last year. And now they're going to release it, and it's kind of its own thing. It's not tied into the future of the X-Men, but it's kind of
got like a teen horror feel.
I think what they realized is that
like a scary feel to it.
This is like a free release for Disney. They bought it in the big package of everything, so it didn't cost them anything to produce it. Throwing it out there, if it did 150 million, let's say, at total box office worldwide, they made money.
all they have to do is make distribution costs back because they really haven't done really any advertising. Like you said, the money was spent by 20th Century Fox, and if it bombs, they can say, "Well, we didn't make it."
Yeah.
So it really is free money to them.
Yeah.
So might as well. And there is a fan base that was looking forward to this, so they'll get to see it.
Yeah. The Quiet Place Part 2 is getting a September release. That looked interesting. I like the first one. Don't know if I'll go see it though. Monster Hunter, I'm not familiar with. That looks interesting. Oh,
this is really Resident Evil in a different reality. She's done with the Resident Evil series, so now she's doing this.
No, it's Resident Evil mixed with Final Fantasy. It looks like with that giant sword there.
Yeah.
But it's
mixed with Mad Max.
Yeah, I can see there. It says Paul W.S. Anderson. So, and here it is, and it was loosely based on the video game series of the same name. So there must be a video game there. So okay.
I always laugh when I see these swords, though. Like, this thing would weigh 100 pounds.
Well, if not
There's
more.
no way you could swing a sword that big.
Yeah. And these anime kids are like, ah! So yeah,
I love it when I see cosplayers carrying these things because then at the end of the day, you see how exhausted they are by dragging this 100-pound prop around.
Initially, it's light when they've got it, but by the end of the day, that 20 pounds they were thought was light, even though it was resting on the shoulder, is like 2,000 pounds. So.
Right. Yeah, and they're like, you can just tell how exhausted they are.
Yeah, a lot of the fall movies coming out are different ones. They do have.
Looks like Sammy's played that game too. She said it's a super fun game.
Yeah. Sammy's a gamer. She loves games and then different cool stuff. She's into the giant robot stuff too. I love that Sammy loves giant robots.
Yes.
So. And then
speaking of the giant robots, when are we going to have the Iron Giant live action sequel? That's what I want. I keep saying it. Jennifer Aniston's the right age to play herself as she did the voice. She can bring Harry Connick Jr. back. They all are perfect for a sequel. Do a live action sequel.
A live action would be really cool. And it's been what was that? Warner Brothers, I think, came out with that originally. Yeah. And it was like 99 it came out. So yeah, Sammy's all for it. Heck yeah. And I love the Iron Giant.
Hollywood has to hire us.
It's funny when I talk to people that say they've never seen the Iron Giant. I'm like, it's one of the best animated movies that's come out really in the last 50 years. It just hit all the different works.
It's one of the best family movies.
Yeah.
Live action or animated. It's a great movie.
Yeah, I love it.
Very heart touching and very well done.
And the ending is a satisfying ending that left it open to revisit it if they wanted to. So, but the way they ended it, it was Hollywood. Very satisfying. So it wasn't like, oh, we got to have a sequel to find out what happened. We know what happened. So, but I would love to see a live action. That would definitely be one that could work. And both Jennifer Aniston and Harry Connick Jr. they would be perfect right now.
And it's kind of Iron Giant kind of is Superman. So we could have Iron Giant's nemesis Batman and find out a supercomputer named Martha created him.
There we go.
they can just use the same script.
Pretty much, yes. But we also have another movie coming out in the fall that looks interesting. I haven't seen too much on it. But October 23rd.
That's the end of the list on my screen share there.
Yeah, we've got Snake Eyes, G.I. Joe Origins coming out.
It's interesting because I've seen this posted, but I've seen nothing online about it.
Nothing. So they've been really good about it. The pictures are all from different looks like Comic-Con or something like that.
Like a convention or something.
Yeah. So and it's coming out. So that's the cast and I think it's gonna be interesting to see. I'm waiting to see a trailer to determine it. I didn't like the Rock movies so much of the G.I. Joe stuff because it really didn't feel like G.I. Joe. But if they're
going like a Rock movie that they just hijacked the G.I. Joe name for,
but they're doing this, I'm wondering if it's like they did with Bumblebee and you got Hasbro.
Well, my understanding, Hasbro has gotten the rights back and they're doing their own studio. So I believe this is actually a Hasbro film, just like Bumblebee was. So cool. They're trying to take ownership of their image now in the movie. So. There's Black Widow. What is that? November?
That comes out November 6th. That'd be good. Just in time for that's just in time for Akron.
And I think I just read they just started back up production on Black Widow. They come back. So a couple days ago I read that. So
there's definitely
I'm guessing reshoots and things like that.
Yeah, Hollywood's opening back up on that. I don't. Let's see what this is. This is Voyagers. And I'm going to go back a day. This is 25th. This is the Deep Space One. See, I remember the Voyagers TV show from the early '80s where they did the time travel with the guy and the kid. So
Right.
but we do have coming out November 20th. We have
You got-
two movies. Got Godzilla versus Kong.
Mhm.
So that'll be interesting to see what they do with that. And then they pushed back the new Pixar. They're supposed to come out in July. So Soul is going to come out in November now. And
I think
that's all
for
around,
King Kong, they should have kept him because he's only supposed to be like 30 feet tall. He's not supposed to be 800 feet tall like Godzilla. They should have kept King Kong as 30 feet and then had Kong put a saddle on Godzilla and he rides it into battle. I think that would have been awesome.
That would be interesting. I love this list though because they have Spider-Man 4 fan film.
What? We also had on November 25th, No Time to Die. That's the James Bond one.
Yeah,
James Bond, that was the first movie to push back, if I remember right, from the COVID. They were the first one to reschedule, I think.
Well, yeah, they were supposed to come out pretty quick into the COVID, so they got pushed back right away.
Yeah,
and
I think they were the first movie to when they announced it. Then we got the Dune coming out in December. What else is on there? Oh, Free Guy. That's the Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to Free Guy. I thought that looked funny. Coming to America,
It's interesting.
The Coming to America sequel.
I'm looking forward to that one. I enjoyed Coming to America.
Yeah, and then the Top Gun Maverick.
It's interesting though because we're getting a lot of summer movies now in December.
Yes,
so that'll be interesting.
What's interesting is what got pushed to the next year.
Truck in January. I wonder if that's like a sequel to Cash Cab, the game show.
Well, let's take a look at that. But that's a Guy Ritchie film.
Oh,
so,
look at that
with Jason Statham. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
That might be good. I like Jason Statham movies with Guy Ritchie in there.
Well, Guy Ritchie does well with those fast-paced movies like that, those heist films, things like that. I think his style works at it. I don't like him when he does other people's properties or like period pieces. I don't like his flow.
Yeah,
but
they had to push back.
Like those heists,
yeah, this is funny about this one here, though. Peter Rabbit 2 was supposed to have come out already around Easter this year.
Right.
It's pushed to January next year. Walking around Myers as much as I do, they've got they had all the promo stuff out already. Toys. They had the books out. So you can actually buy the novelization of the movie now if you wanted to read it ahead of time. If you're that curious what happened to Peter Rabbit 2.
That's one of those movies I think would have done well just being released straight to on demand.
I think because they pushed it back initially and then they started doing the releasing online or the on-demand stuff, they missed the boat on that and they said, well, screw it, we'll just leave it for the theater.
Right.
And it's coming out in January.
Here's one I'm interested.
Yeah.
February, The Eternals. So that's really the first Marvel movie moving the storyline forward now because Black Widow, I assume, will be in the before what we've already seen. You confirmed that. I believe that's like a couple years before or something.
Yeah, it takes place prior to the Infinity
It's like
War.
in between, what do they call it? The snap, or what do they call it? The vanish? What? I forget what they called it.
Yeah, it's prior to the snap. It's prior to the snap. And it's basically it's just kind of explaining, I think, setting up the Black Widow project, and they can go forward with that project, but it'll be different people involved in it. They can pull from there. So
right.
So that's kind of how that works. So
and the Eternals, though, we've really had very little information about the Eternals. We've seen images of the cast who's in it, but that's about it.
Yeah, you got Angelina Jolie, and then you got Richard Madden's in it, Kamal Nanjiani, so Salma Hayek, Kit Harington's going to be in it, and so it's got an interesting cast, and looking forward.
It'll
to
also be interesting moving forward to see how now that Disney has 20th Century Fox, like will there be like maybe a post-credit scene where we see mutants being introduced back into the Marvel universe or something, or that is, I don't know if they had time to work it into that storyline because that one was much further along in production at the time that the purchase happened. So I don't know if it'll be in the storyline, but they could put together a little post-credit scene to tease a Wolverine or some other character.
The post-credit scene is the easy part. Of course, we haven't heard anything about casting of any X-Men actors. So
Right.
that'd be interesting to see on that. Also moved to March that we're supposed to have been seeing in July is the Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Okay.
So that's
March though, I bet it does really well in that time frame.
I think it's a good time. It would have been nice to see it in July, but I think that's a good time to see it now, when
Yeah.
it comes out there. So Morbius is also another one coming out in March.
Oh yeah. And
That's
now that
also
one falls under the Spider-Verse segment of the Marvel universe. And I believe Morbius is supposed to tie into the Venom movies too.
Yes, but it's still, I believe these are still MCU. But they're still doing this
No, they are
crossover.
considered MCU. Yeah, it's considered MCU, but it's part of the Spider-Verse offshoot that they're trying to develop with Venom and all that.
Yeah, and you got J. Jonah Jameson. J.K. Simmons is rumored right now. So
I will say I was, isn't Sam Raimi part of this?
He's not.
He was
listed,
involved
he's not
somehow.
listed initially here.
No, okay.
It's Daniel Espinosa's director. You've got several writers here. Jared Leto is playing Morbius.
But with them bringing J.K. Simmons in, like, and we had that post-credit scene in the Spider-Man movie.
Yeah,
it looks like they're gonna. I think they're gonna use that multiverse theory to try to bring the Sam Raimi Spider-Verse into the MCU, and hopefully we get that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. Multiple Spider-Mans.
That's the rumor. Is there is going to be a second animated movie, but there has been more and more traction in the rumors of them doing a live action. And that would actually, I think, is what here's what my irresponsible speculation on this is: the Sony will continue on with the Peter Parker Spider-Man. If they do an Into the Spider-Verse, it's going to introduce the Miles Morales character, and that's the Spider-Man we'll see in the MCU more than the Peter Parker one.
Yes. Yeah, and they could easily do some kind of a crossover event where you could. Oh, that's it, Doctor Strange. That's right. Yeah. I remember Raimi was involved with something, but you could just stand up. You look foolish down there. I'm in my office. There's Jill. She's trying to get something out, and she was trying to crawl under the camera.
Oh, hi, Jill.
Here.
Hello.
She's trying to be all quiet over there, getting work done.
She's hearing half the
conversation. That just looked weird having you crawl behind.
I didn't think about me.
See this little head bopping by. It's like, what the heck is going on back there?
Well, I guess they made a Tomb Raider 2, and the first one looked bad. I didn't see it, so that would suck. Oh, but here's an interesting one. I found this interesting. I didn't even know this was happening.
Yes,
Passion of the Christ Resurrection.
Yes. Yep. They are moving forward with that. It's going to be Mel Gibson again, along with Jim Caviezel. I'm excited about this. It's going to show after the crucifixion, basically Book of Acts, what's happening in Book of Acts when Christ comes back.
Yeah, so 3 days. Yeah, the 3 days afterwards of that. So that's interesting. Yeah. I saw the original Passion in the theaters, and it was definitely a film. When you're in the theaters, you just get engrossed in it, even though it was done in a different language, Aramaic.
Yeah, the way they did that was amazing.
Yeah, and the visuals were just right there. So it was very interesting. Whether you're a believer or not, it was definitely just a fantastic film in itself. So.
Oh yeah.
And so a lot of stuff coming out next year. We've got.
I think that covers everything that. I think that's everything that was supposed to come out this year. Was Matrix 4 supposed? Remember, wasn't Matrix 4 and
Matrix 4 is next year along with John Wick. John Wick is
right, but where's John Wick on the list?
It's not listed on this list. I'm wondering if they haven't started shooting it, so it's been delayed on the filming process.
See, I still think they're going to be the same movie. Like one is going to be the prequel. I think they're going to merge together the two. That's the only thing that makes the John Wick movies make sense to me. Yeah. Is that it's based in the Matrix. It's a reboot. I am looking forward to this Top Gun.
Yes, and that was supposed to come out in June this month, but now it's going to be December. So it'll be Christmas release. So it's not a little bad thing there. I'm looking forward to that. It looks pretty good. And then, but yeah, with the Matrix, I did see Keanu's done a couple things said lately about it. That reason he chose to do Matrix 4 was when he got the script. I forget which Wachowski wrote it, but I think it's the one that is transgender. So that because he referred to she. I don't know.
I think they're both.
I don't know. I'm not gonna get into that.
Because they now call them the sisters. No, I think they both are though now.
Oh,
I could
okay.
be wrong. I'm no expert on them. I think they both did it.
Okay. But he said, she wrote a really good script. And when he read the script, he really liked the direction they went with it, which I'm curious because I thought the third movie was very weak. I just didn't, it felt like they were just trying to end it. And I didn't like the way that one went. I liked in fact, I rewatched The Matrix itself. And funny is it felt slightly dated, with the way it looked. But then you realize that because they filmed it to be set in 1999, it still looks like it's 1999 with that in terms of the feel of the film. It's like it's not going to be a timeless movie, and then that actually works. And that so I'm curious to see what happens there. So yeah, Sammy says they're now both women. So because it was the Wachowski brothers, so now it's the Wachowski sisters. Okay,
correct.
So, but yeah, I'm curious to see that because I've liked a lot of the Wachowski movies. The second and third Matrixes, they felt rushed because they did them back to back, and I think it was again just trying to.
Well, I think part of the problem they had with the Matrix movies too is there's a lot of movies like this, whether it's Hunger Games or Maze Runner or whatever. Mm-hmm. You have a gimmick that becomes identified with that movie franchise, and the problem is once the gimmick is revealed, the rest doesn't matter as much. So like with Matrix, they were living in the Matrix. I think if the reveal of that the real Earth happened in the third movie, it would have been better. But because the reveal was in the first one, now the rest of the movie, you're like, all the scenes on Earth, you're like, I don't care about this. Go back in the Matrix. That's the world I want to see in this movie. And Hunger Games, once they got outside of the games, all of a sudden you didn't care about everything else that went on. Same with Maze Runner. Once he got out of the maze, well, who cares about that stuff? So it's like once the gimmick is revealed, it's fine to reveal it. You got to reveal it at some point. But when it's revealed in movie one of a trilogy, I think that hurts the remaining two movies.
Yeah.
But my thoughts.
And that's where, the Hunger Games being based on the books, and I read the books, and the problem with the Hunger Games was it was just bad writing all around. And what I didn't, the movies were done better than the books because when you read the books, it's like Katniss is nowhere to be seen, like especially in the last book, and it's like people are just coming and telling her, "Well, this is what happened." It's like, no, that was crap. It should have never been done from that perspective.
Right. It's like you should have followed the story with those people because that's the part of the story I want to hear. I didn't want to hear her moping for weeks and then find out secondhand knowledge, all the good stuff.
Yeah.
But same with Divergent. I tried reading that series. Oh my God, it was horribly written. It made Hunger Games look like, amazing writing. Yeah. Divergent was awful. But I think what happened is that was the whole surge where they were trying to get these post-apocalyptic or whatever you call it. What do they call that?
Well, it was it's right after Twilight came out. And when Twilight, you had all these other ones and they were all supposed to be the brand new, whatever is going to be hip for Harry Potter. Right. So, and that's what they were
all
going
the movies that maybe Sammy can answer this as a woman is everyone wants to say don't do stereotypes, but all of these women movies, it's always a love triangle. Every time it turns into, I can't choose between the two, and like just get rid of that part of the story. It would have been good otherwise. Same with Twilight. All the side stories were actually the good stuff. If they killed Bella and Edward off in the first 5 minutes, the whole rest of the series would have been great. I want to know about the Volturi and all that stuff. That was like really cool stuff. The Descendants of Dracula, and let's watch that.
Yeah, well, yeah, those were good stories.
We get Bella.
They got 4 books of some stupid love story that really didn't work. Because when you read the first chapter of the Twilight, I was like, okay, she sees this guy, she's instantly in love with him, doesn't know why, and then she has to be with him forever. And it's like, none of this made sense. So
yeah, it was awful. It was awful. But she actually created an interesting universe. Like every side character, like even I'm blanking on the names now because it's not like I'm infatuated with Twilight.
Yeah.
The big guy who is one of the good vampires. Anyways, like him and Alice, they were really cool characters. I'd rather follow their story than Edward and Bella.
Yeah.
But you got Bella sitting in a chair for 8 months staring out the window. It's like, really? This is exciting stuff? Come on.
No.
Kill them off.
That was they were bad. They were bad reads. I speed read pretty much all of them, and I was like, okay, these are just horribly written. Most of the story took place in like 20 pages. The rest of it was just her exposition of crap. and that. So.
Yeah, I agree.
And then I guess she's got a new book coming out, and it's from Edward's perspective of the first book, which I guess was speculated years ago. And I was like, really? You already know the story.
I thought they were, yeah.
Reading from
And I thought they were doing
perspective,
something about the daughter growing up. What's her name? Renesmee, I think it was.
I don't know.
Some horrible name like that.
Yeah.
But
and then they just came out with the prequel book for Hunger Games, which supposedly is the origin of Snow. Right. I'm like, but who cares? You know, we already know how things. They tell you how it came about. It's like I'm going to detail it more. There's nothing to detail. You know the crap that happened. So, you know, it's.
Isn't that funny how we do prequels for everything now? When Lucas did the prequel 1 through 3, the word prequel was like, "What's that? Prequel? Yeah. Are you allowed to do this? What is this?" Yeah, now it's like you just expect it.
George Lucas changed the world of cinema again.
Again.
Yes. Creating universes.
We will tell you the backstory on the stories you didn't care about to begin with.
Exactly.
But you'll feel like you need to see because you're a fan.
At least with Star Wars, we did care, so.
Yeah. Actually, the prequels, still, the older they get, the better they are. You know, the biggest problem with the prequels was Lucas we had Steven Spielberg, who wanted to be the director on the prequels.
Yeah.
And I don't know why Lucas said no to that. He only gave him the editing on the final fight of between Obi-Wan and Anakin in episode 3. But I think had he turned it over to Spielberg to direct and handle from that point out, I think we would have had the prequels we should have had. You know?
Well, and that's the thing.
Worked great together.
You know, he should have done just like he did with the original trilogy. He'd do episode 1, hand it off 2 and 3, and just oversee everything and work with like Lawrence Kasdan and all them for the writing side of it and directing. And that way he can just kind of oversee everything and not worry about it. So,
yeah.
Nope. He drove himself into retirement.
We only have 5 minutes left. We only have a couple minutes left. Star Wars Rebels. I got into season 1 because you watched it, and I was like, you know what? I gotta go watch that again. So I've been watching. I'm in season 1 right now, and I've always enjoyed Rebels, but I forgot how much I enjoyed it, and I think I'm actually enjoying season 1 better the second time through than when they were originally aired. And I think part of it is you had mentioned off here, binge watching it. You see the progression of the characters better, whereas when it was originally released, it was weekly.
Yeah, and then you had to go year to year to catch the season. And going through it in a few weeks like I did, I'll tell you, it's to me it's almost Clone Wars is spectacular, but really Rebels is the pinnacle Star Wars series right now, with Mandalorian right there with it, because it's telling such a deep, rich story about these characters you follow, where Clone Wars was like a broad scope. You got to learn about the different clones. You followed a lot of certain ones, but the overall arc of Clone Wars changed when they really focused more on Ahsoka. But that continues into Rebels, and really Rebels became these characters. You get to see the true birth of the rebellion, see what happened from the prequel movies to how it impacted the galaxy at that time to lead up into the original trilogy.
Well, also, I think Rebels kind of learned. I think they changed direction after season 1. All the focus was on the Inquisitor trying to create this new bad guy, and it was really once they brought. It was season 2 where Rebels just go skyrockets. They bring Ahsoka back. You have Darth Vader involved, and it was a really powerful season there. Also, though, in looking back, we also now have things like you got the Ghost appearing in Rogue One and making appearances in the different movies. And I think this, and now that we know, like Rex, old Rex is now part of Return of the Jedi, and potentially in now Mandalorian season 2. Yep. All of these little side things that happened brought even more relevance to the Rebel series. So it's interesting watching it over again. And I forgot how there's so many small things I forgot about while watching it again that I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. So it's just been really enjoyable.
Yeah, I highly recommend anybody that's watching our show or listening on the podcast to definitely go back, check it out. The entire series is up on Disney Plus, which is great. So you can binge it at your own pace.
It's only 3 seasons, I think.
4 seasons. 4 seasons, but it's a lot of episodes. I'm not sure. I think there's at least 70, I think, if not more. But and they're 22
episodes
minutes
only like 22 minutes.
Yep,
Yeah.
there's half hour, but the stories are great. And to see how you see the progression of Ezra, which was kind of the focus for a while there, but then really it became about the whole process and that, and with Kanan and everything else. And when you get to the end of the series, season 4, and I would recommend watching the series before the next Mandalorian, because I think it's going to tie into the next Mandalorian season. And that, but you get so much that they can set up from there going forward. And there is already talk about the Ahsoka series, whether they do animated or live action. Kind of, it sounds like it's going to take off from there, which will be really good. So
very excited for that. All right,
Cool.
and last bit of business before we get off the air here. We got Bardstone Publishing, which is myself, Brett, Kevin. We successfully finished the Poe Macabre Master series by Kevin Meinert, and that went great. We want to thank everyone for their support. If you have not filled out your survey yet, that was sent out by Kevin from Kickstarter, and you sponsored it, fill it out, because he needs all your information for t-shirt sizes, number of books, all those things that you sign up for. So get that done if you haven't done so already. And if you have, thank you for doing so. It makes our life a lot easier to fulfill orders and get you the rewards you paid for. So we want to do that. But also, next week, we're already getting into a new Kickstarter. We got Crimson Shadows. Let's see here. Let me see if I can pull up the Crimson Shadows here. So we got Crimson Shadows. Here we go. Here's the pictures. We're getting very close to being done. We're going to launch our Kickstarter. There's the logo there. We also have those are some things. Some of the covers. So we're going to have, this is going to be the main cover, but we're going to have some specialty covers as well. Here's some samples of some of the pages colored. So, in a nutshell, this takes place in the late 1880s during the time of Jack the Ripper in London. And our main character, Julius here, you can see he's not having a good day. And we find out a little bit about why. Who is this guy? Well, we got Dracula involved. So this is a story. We got Jack the Ripper. We have vampires. We have angels, demons, all kinds of fun stuff that intersects here with this storyline. And issue 1 is going to be 24 pages. And we're really excited to be able to release this. We're all very happy. Everybody, I think, involved. J. Travis Smith on pencils, Kevin Meinert on inks, Brett Pinson on the graphics and lettering, myself with the colors and writing. I think everyone hit a home run. I really do. And I love how it's coming together. So we will be launching that next Wednesday.
Yes.
Which means I got a lot of work to do to get everything finalized for that launch day.
Yeah,
But,
we'll do
it's good.
we'll do a 7:00 launch party again, like we did with the last one, and get all 3 of us on there as long as everybody's available, and go from there. The following Wednesday after that, because we're going to try to do these as much as we can, almost weekly. But the following Wednesday, we may have a little bit different setup, because Kevin and Brandy will be here for getting ready to fly out. So
that's right.
I don't know. Maybe we'll have you come down and do dinner with us all if you're not busy, and we'll just do one broadcast.
I definitely want to talk about that and try to coordinate something. So that would be awesome. I'll come down and see everybody.
And then when we do the live broadcast, all of you watching and listening can join us.
That's right.
Cool.
That'll be good. So that's it. I think we hit all our bullet points for today.
Yeah, a lot of cool stuff going on. Glad to see Michigan's wide opening up more, and as well as other states. And we're all going to slowly get back to normal. And we'll see how well that goes for everybody. And I think we'll all do just fine. Just be safe out there. If you need to wear a mask, if you don't need to wear a mask and you're not allowed to, go for it, whichever works best for you. But until next week, episode 158, which we'll talk a little more Bardstone next week too, as we get ready to launch the Crimson Shadows podcast, as well as a lot of other fun stuff. I'm going to take us out.